Hi, my name's Adam Chamberlain from Elite Pro Golf, and today I'm going to talk a lot about practice. You know, how to practice, what you're working on, and the ways to really improve some faults that are really niggling you and you really want to change. Because hands up, who wants to play better next year? I certainly do. And this is the best time of year. It's winter, we're in the lead to Christmas. People don't get a lot of time to play as much. The weather maybe hinders that as well. But this is the perfect time to work on those things you need to improve on. Now, the first thing I'm going to say to you is this. Those people that really want to make a change, if you want to make a change, you need to, and you've been doing this fault for a little while, it's going to take you a little while to fix the fault. But I want you to understand one concept, and it's really, really important. Those people that think that just simply practicing more will help you get better is absolutely false. If you're not out on the driving range or on the short game green, on the putting green, working on something purposefully, as in have a plan, you know exactly what you're working on, simply just hitting more putts, hitting more drivers, hitting more chips without understanding your faults, how to fix it and what to practice, you're simply just going to ingrain those faults even more. And that's unfortunately what we see quite a lot. So to fix these faults, we need to have a plan. So I'm going to run through a couple of ideas and I'm going to show you how to practice, because a lot of people we see kind of make some really good progress, then it stops and they go backwards. So I want you to see how you can keep going forwards, and I'm going to break it down for you. So I'm going to use a couple of ideas. So one of the ideas might be, for instance, talking about turning in the backswing. So, and coiling up. We see a lot of people that maybe reverse pivot, the hips go this way, the head goes the other way. We see other people where the hip goes backwards and the head goes this way, and it makes it very difficult to make the pivot very consistent. So how do we do this? Well, what you do is you take the club away, you work in front of a mirror, which is behind the camera as I'm looking at, and what you do is you put your hands on your shoulders or on your hips, and if you're working on your hips, for instance, we don't want them to go this way and the head to go backwards. We don't want the head to go this way and the hips to go this way. We want to feel like we're just turning these hips a little more. So all you do is you feel like you're literally pulling that hip back, and you can work in front of the mirror working on this move. Then you build it up to a full swing like this, and then you maybe put the club down and turn it like this. So what I'm saying to you is, if you can't do it in your full swing, take the club away and the ball. Then if you can't do it even with the club in your hands and you still get it wrong, take the club away. And if you can't do it with your hands down, you take the hands away, and you simply work and isolate the movements and work on them separately, and then you build them up. And now you don't need to do loads of this. You need to do a minute, 5 minutes a week would be fantastic, and that sounds a lot. But you imagine if you time this, and I get the juniors to do this, if I practice doing this move for a minute, I would probably do 30 to 40 of those movements. That once for 5 days over a week is a lot of movement patterns, and that's going to help improve this and ingrain this in. So you need to do little and often, working on these moves, then build it up to like this, then can I do it in my full swing, and before you know it, you're going to have improved that motion. So you need to break down the move that you're trying to do. It's similar to, say, an impact position. So a lot of people maybe struggle, come in and they kind of scoop the ball, hit the ball high, or lack of distance, maybe struggle into the wind. Now, for those of you, I always talk a lot about impact position. Why? Because it's simply the most important part of the golf swing. But what does impact look like? Impact looks like this, and it should look like this. Now, if you're somebody comes in and does this, we need to make sure we're practicing moves that look exaggeratedly the other way, that looks like this. Now look at the position of where the arms are. The arms are well in front of the body. The hands is extremely exaggerated in front. If you want an impact position to go from here to here, we need to be practicing an impact that's really, really exaggerated, and you don't need balls to do this. Just remember, you need to work on the movements slowly, little and often, daily, in order to get where you want to be. Because what happens is, we see people make some progress, then we think, oh, I've cracked it, and then you go back and play, and then you video it again, you look at it, and it looks back to square one, and it's really frustrating. But understand, to sustain a big improvement in your golf swing, little and often, for a long period of time, sometimes these changes take a month, 3 months, 6 months, some changes take a year, but you gradually, every time you get time to practice, you go to the driving range, you work on these moves that you need to work on, you hit those little shots, you work in the mirror at home, little and often, and I guarantee you this will help you play better and help you improve these faults for next season.